Okay, we discussed the linear node, we discussed the linked stack, and now let's test the linked stack. Let's use it, right? And notice that for my, this is the array stack. Okay, so I'm going to close that. Okay, so in my stack, I have linked stack, and this is the stack, this is the data structure. And so I have a driver. And for your project, I ask you to use two classes, right? So I have two classes here. Actually, I'm not using rectangle. I think I'm using a string, but for you, you cannot. You have to use two different classes, okay? I'm actually not using rectangle here. So I just wrote another class author to test it. So let's look at the test. Just know that the test is basically the same, except I'm going to test the author so that you can see. Okay, that's the beauty of this different implementation, but the same interface. Remember, your interface is this. So as soon as I see this, I know if you are a stack interface, if you are a stack, you will implement these. However you implement them, I do not care. I just need to be able to use it. So if you look at my stack driver, these two parts, these two statements are the same, right? Except instead of array stack, I'm using linked stack. I'm using linked stack. Okay, so once again, I'm pushing class begins, class ends, class resumed, and then I'm pushing this string s, which is class stopped, onto it. So I'm popping one off, and then I'm testing this toString method. Okay, this is testing the toString method twice to make sure it works. So let's run. And if you look at it, okay, pop. We popped the top one, and then testing the toString, class resumed, class ends, class begins. Class resumed, class ends, class begins. So after I call the toString method, the stack did not change. That means it's correct. So these testing are the same. And when you do it, can you do the same? Yes, I would say yes, but you have to change your stack. Instead of using a string, you have to use whatever I say you need to write, right? I think I asked you to write a new class or something. So, but your testing, however you test it, you can use the same structure to test. And once again, that's the purpose, actually. That means no matter how you implement it, using a linked list or an array, they should function the same. And the pop, this is also the pop. And here I'm testing this author class. Okay, so with author, I'm actually using my daughter's name. My daughter actually just recently, she submitted a manuscript and it was accepted the next day. And by Macmillan, and they actually doubled their offer. And so her book will be published in the US and Canada by Macmillan. And it's also going to be published in the UK by Penguin Random House. And it's also going to be published in Germany and Romania and the Netherlands, Italy, what is the other country? France, and Russia. So that's for now, it's about a month, it's less than a month. So there are more countries, but so I'm very happy, very excited. I'm using her as an example. Okay. So I created an author here, right? If you look at my author class, oh, where is my author class? Here, a very simple private string name, private string publisher. And I have these here, you're very familiar with. And okay, so I created an author, I pushed it. Oh no, I didn't push. I pushed this new one, the one that is created on the fly. And then I pushed this one. That is this author, right? So this should be the top one. And this is the second one. So this is the toString, and let's check. Okay, testing the here, right? Testing the two elements on the stack, testing toString. That works, that's correct. That's the first one, that's the second one. So, and you know it works because we tested here, but you just need to make sure you test all the methods. Okay, so I'm testing get name, get publisher, using the stack, not an individual author. I'm using the stacks element, right? You already know this from the first project. And I'm also testing set name, set author, right? So once again, you use the stack object, not an individual author object. You cannot come here and you say author, you cannot say, oops. Okay, you cannot come here and say author dot set name, whatever you want to put there. You cannot do this because this is not treating it as a stack element. So that's what this means. Okay, so you need to use the stack to reset the name, set the publisher. You are testing that, right? And when you test the toString method, actually the toString method is being tested by the toString method right here. This is testing the toString method because if you go to your linear node class, it's returning the element. If your element does not have a toString method, it will not work. So this will go to the author and we'll give you the toString method. We'll call the toString method. So when you tag the stacks toString method, when you test the stacks toString method, you are testing the toString method of the individual class right there. Okay, so that's that. And you once again, I test the toString method here again. So that is this testing. Okay. It's very, very, very much the same from the first one, and that's the key. You use roughly the same structure to test, and it gives you exactly the same result, correct result, as the first project. Okay, if your first project is not correct, then that's the problem. You need to correct this one. Follow this example to test it, and that is it. Okay, everybody, I'm going to stop here.